Welcome, everyone, to the top 100 most powerful Black women summit. I want to thank the host and visionary, Natalia Nicholson, for putting together this awesome event. In the words of Michelle Obama, there's no limit to what we as women can accomplish.
I am Dr. Kimberly Nelms, the CEO of ATK Innovations LLC, which stands for Align, Thrive, and Know. Our motto is align your vision, thrive in your purpose, and you will truly know who and whose you are. Our mission is to empower you on your journey, personal growth, healing, and discovering your true purpose. I believe that everyone has a story to tell. Through my podcast, books, and speaking platform, I share stories of resilience and faith. Today, I want to talk to you about resilience redefined and how healing from trauma empowers your voice in life and business. I want to start by breaking down trauma and the components of trauma recovery, which includes coping mechanisms, the effects of trauma, and the importance of resilience. Let's dive in. What is trauma? Trauma refers to an experience that causes significant emotional, mental, and physical harm. Trauma can have a profound impact on individuals, affecting them on multiple levels. I want to first start by normalizing the word trauma. We don't need to think of trauma as a stigma. We have to remember that trauma is not just extreme situations. Trauma can include ongoing stress, rejection, or failure in business or life. Unfortunately, trauma is a widespread experience that many people have endured. And while some people may do some outlandish things to deal with their trauma, like jumping out of airplanes, daredevil stunts, Russian roulette, you name it, I absolutely do not recommend any of that. But let's discuss some safe approaches to managing trauma, also known as self expression. For example, journaling, creating art, making music, or engaging in physical activities. Engaging in healthy outlets for your emotions can be beneficial in helping to cope with trauma. They offer therapeutic advantages that help in processing experiences and discovering your voice. The second component is what we call the effects of trauma. Unhealed trauma silences your voice and drains your creativity. And due to the trauma I endured, I chose to internalize my emotions, which led to a lack of trust in others and a belief that they didn't truly see me. This resulted in creating emotional defenses that prevented me from forming meaningful connections. I've learned we must deal and process our negative feelings rather than suppressing them. And once I had that realization, everything in my life started to make sense. And you want to know the best part? Recognizing it wasn't too late to make changes. So I started going to therapy. And just because you go to therapy doesn't mean you're crazy. And now that I think about it, that's exactly what a crazy person would say. But stay with me. I'm going somewhere. In addition to therapy, I began reading books and seeking spiritual guidance. This helped me to better understand and express my emotions. I can't emphasize enough how crucial it is to seek professional help when confronting trauma. Remember, seeking help is a true sign of strength, not of weakness. I've learned that clinging to painful memories can cause stress and unhappiness. So if you're facing challenges or have experienced similar trauma, I urge you to embark upon your healing journey today. Remember, as Matthew 19:26 reminds us, with God, not one, not some, but all things are possible. Another major part of trauma recovery is resilience. We've all heard the expression, there's nothing new under the sun, which simply means what has been done will be done again. So while a person's trauma may feel unique to them, I can assure you it's not. And to demonstrate this, here are a few examples of individuals who have turned their trauma into triumph. Oprah Winfrey experienced molestation by family members and friends of the family at the early age of 9. She became pregnant at the age of 14. Unfortunately, the baby did not survive. But today, she holds the title of the wealthiest African American woman in the United States. Period. Tyrese Gibson grew up with a single alcoholic mother alongside his siblings. He had no real relationship with his father, and he also grew up in a gang infested neighborhood. He was 38 when his mother told him for the very first time that she was proud of him and that she knew when she gave birth to him that he was special. But despite his challenging upbringing, he managed to forge a successful career as a well known entertainer. Tyler Perry endured physical abuse from his father and was sexually abused at the hands of several adults. He was homeless and even tried to commit suicide to escape his traumatic experiences. By 2011, he had become the highest earning individual in the entertainment industry and is now recognized as one of the wealthiest people globally, according to Forbes' World Billionaires list. That's right, billionaire with a B. So, what do all of these individuals have in common? I'm glad you asked. Each of them exemplified the power of resilience by not allowing their past to dictate their future. Resilience isn't toughness alone, it's emotional flexibility. It gives us the courage to rebuild differently and not to return the same. What is resilience really? It's more than bouncing back, it's about growing through what we've experienced. Remember, gentleness is power, but suppression is weakness. Resilience is essential in overcoming trauma. It allows individuals to confront their pain and to find the courage to move forward. We must treat those who have suffered trauma with compassion. We can foster a more empathetic society by actively listening, validating others' experiences, and offering judgment free support. It's important that we reframe resilience as alignment because resilience is not just survival, but intentional thriving. It is integration, not avoidance. Healing is strength. By having self awareness, creating boundaries, and having self compassion are key. Trauma doesn't manifest subtly. It often shows up in behaviors that look like ambition, but they're actually stem from fear. A famous person once said, "It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us." Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And in spite of that, there are still some hidden impacts that we will experience from going through trauma. We will have a fear of being seen or heard, or possibly suffering from imposter syndrome or perfectionism. WebMD defines imposter syndrome as when you doubt your own skills and successes. You feel as though you're not as talented or worthy as others believe. And you're actually scared that one day they're going to realize it. Even though imposter syndrome is not an actual mental health diagnosis, it can cause significant harm in different areas of your life. Next, I'm going to talk about the healing process. There are 4 stages that I'm going to be discussing. The first stage is awareness. And during this stage is where you recognize your trauma and its impact. The purpose is to begin the healing journey. The second stage is acceptance. This is where you emotionally acknowledge what happened and what you've gone through. The purpose of this stage is to reduce resistance and allows us to be open to be healed. Our third stage is action. This is where the hard part comes in. This is doing the inner and the outer work, no matter what that looks like to you, because it looks different for all of us. But the purpose is to create change and to restore safety. And our last stage is going to be integration. This is where you're healed and you're ready to go on and you're living beyond your trauma with new meaning. This purpose of this stage is to find peace, purpose, and wholeness, which is what we all want, correct? Remember, healing is not linear. Remember to give yourself permission to be human. Healing is a journey, not a destination. Each step towards healness amplifies our capacity to lead and to create in life and business. There are several ways to seek support, i.e., therapy, coaching, and community, just to name a few. Owning your story strengthens your leadership and your message. When people can trust you, it then allows them to become more receptive to what you're saying and to actually create a greater impact. Empowering your voice. Healing restores authenticity. It's when you speak your truth, even when you're afraid or if your voice shakes. Remember to lead from vulnerability because it builds trust and increases influence. Personal healing directly impacts several areas of your business, such as communication, decision making, and client relationships. Your voice in business. Remember that these few key points will help you along the way. Authenticity builds brands and relationships. People connect with your why, not just your what. And creating boundaries helps to protect your peace and your productivity. I want to encourage you to view your pain as purpose, which is what Resilience Redefined is all about. It's about turning your healing into service. So you go from pain to power. Every healed wound becomes wisdom and knowledge that you've gained. Your story is someone else's survival guide, and your healing amplifies your impact. Your trauma does not define your limits, it redefines your power. When you heal, you don't just find your voice, you amplify it. So let me ask you, what does resilience really mean to you? James Baldwin said, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced." I want to share a personal testimony with you guys at this time. Imagine being a child with a mother who has a mental illness that causes her to forget that she's your mom. She recalls your sister, but you seem to have vanished from her memory. Now, as a child, your grasp of mental illness is minimal, so you don't really understand what it means and what it all entails. The impact of being overlooked can leave you feeling invisible, unloved, and unheard. Now, some people may feel unheard because their significant other or their best friend has ADHD, which we all know is just an excuse for not paying attention to someone. And y'all know I'm right. I mean, let's be real. But that's not what I'm referring to. Not being acknowledged by a parental figure is a different type of pain that can affect one's sense of identity and security. Well, that's my story. And while some of you may empathize with my experience, my purpose in sharing it is not to gain sympathy, but to demonstrate transparency and to relay a crucial message. Our destinies must be fulfilled despite traumatic events. Now, Oprah Winfrey, Tyrese Gibson, and Tyler Perry all overcame their past and went on to do great and marvelous things. So, if their past trauma and pain didn't stop them from achieving greatness, why should yours? Maybe you didn't feel overlooked by a parent. Maybe you felt overlooked by a boss or friends or just overlooked in life, period. Let me ask you a question. Are you tired of allowing fear to stop you from getting the healing you deserve? If I'm talking to you, then take the first step today and email me at atkinnovationsllc@gmail.com. Together, we can explore healing and restoration and create a life filled with purpose. Remember, your purpose is waiting. Thank you for your time. And I am Dr. Kimberly Nelms, your Purpose Discovery Coach. Until we speak again, be blessed.